morning, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Monica for setting the stage properly and very powerfully. I'll be building on some of the principles that she introduced as part of the Lego play. I personally am totally impressed at how fast India has been growing economically. I still remember in 2007 when we all felt proud when India became a trillion-dollar economy. Today, a single state, Tamil Nadu, aims to become a trillion-dollar economy. But there's no guarantee that we'll keep on growing forever without facing major hurdles. Already, 54% of India is facing severe water stress. And according to researchers at Azim Premji University, over 500 districts across India will face a temperature increase of 1 degree or more within the next 12 years. Given this harsh reality, India can't afford to pursue what I call hypergrowth like the US. If we, all Indians, produced and consumed like Americans do, we will need 5 planets to supply us in resources and absorb our waste, which is not sustainable. But India cannot afford degrowth either. Degrowth is now a popular concept in Western economies that have achieved peak growth. Unfortunately, as Dr. Shamika Ravi points out, degrowth is immoral in India, where we still need to improve the standard of living of at least 1 billion people. So I believe that India must avoid 2 extremes, hypergrowth and degrowth. Instead, we must pursue wisely a middle path. After all, this is the country of Buddhism, famous for the middle path. And this third way of development is what I call frugal growth, which consists in decoupling growth and resources. It's about driving inclusive growth using fewer resources. It's not about doing more with less, which is the essence of capitalism, but about doing better with less, which I consider as the essence of dharma. And I want to share with you today 3 proven principles that you as marketers can apply to drive frugal growth. The first principle has always been my favorite since I wrote the book on Jugaad, which is about transforming constraints into opportunities. Marketing is like flying a plane. You need to steer your brand towards higher growth while facing headwinds. But what if you can transform the headwinds into tailwinds to boost your brand? The first Hindi word that Peter Elbers learned when he became Indigo's CEO is Jugaad. In July 2024, when a global IT outage disabled all airport systems, Indigo staff practiced some Jugaad. They quickly switched to a manual system of handwritten boarding passes. This simple Jugaad trick enabled 2.4 million Indigo passengers to take off that same day without hassle. And the young consumers liked the retro vibe of the manual check-in process, which made Indigo brand look cool. Massimo Bottura is a Michelin-starred Italian chef. One day, when his sous chef accidentally dropped a perfectly made lemon tart, Bottura didn't scold him. Instead, the incident inspired him to create an unusual dish, a deliberately deconstructed lemon tart that he named, Oops, I Dropped the Lemon Tart. This dish became a mega bestseller. These 2 examples powerfully show how reframing works. Neuroscience shows that reframing can lead to disruptive growth. Why? Because while everyone else is looking something as a problem, you can creatively reframe it as an opportunity. I think with all the AI buzz going on right now, there is a big problem that we all need to solve. And that's the fact that the explosive growth of AI is driving greater demand for more data centers, which already consume 3% of the global electricity. But here is aberration. 1.5% of the electricity is used to power the servers. And as the servers overheat, another 1.5% electricity is used to cool them. Why is it happening? Well, because a typical engineer sees what's known as the fatal heat generated by the servers as a problem. So he or she tries to get rid of them by cooling data centers. But if you are a Jugaad engineer, you will find a creative opportunity to valorize, that is, extract new value from the fatal heat. That's what Paul Benoit did. He's a French engineer who started a company called Carnot Computing, which makes digital radiators. The heat generated by the processors inside the radiators is harvested to warm houses and offices during winter in France. Now, this is not just a technology innovation. This is actually a major paradigm shift from centralized computing using big data centers to distributed computing using a network of small servers that sit inside radiators. And today, big French banks are using this distributed network of radiators to process high-end financial transactions securely but also sustainably. And Carnot has also developed a digital boiler. So you can take a hot shower while the chips inside the boiler process ChatGPT prompts. Now, here's another big problem that you marketers face is the fact that over 95% of new consumer products fail within 1 year of the launch. Why is that? Because brands actually tend to push what I call minimum viable products. They don't address real customer needs comprehensively. But what if you can use AI tools to intimately engage customers online to co-develop maximum viable products that hit the bullseye from the get-go? Today, leading brands like Unilever and Nestlé use Nielsen IQ Basis. It's an interactive concept testing and a rapid prototyping platform. It uses advanced machine learning optimization techniques known as genetic or evolutionary algorithms, as well as predictive analytics. With this AI tool, you can test multiple product concepts simultaneously with your customers online. And using the feedback, you can rapidly iterate, and you can optimize a new product design in a matter of hours. This AI tool can boost the market success of your new products by getting them right the very first time. Now, let's move on to the second principle to drive frugal growth, which is to valorize. That means creatively leverage all existing resources. Rather than complain about the lack of resources, such as capital and talent, you can learn to identify, celebrate, and creatively leverage the physical and intellectual resources that already exist around you, but are underappreciated or underused. For instance, say you are a luxury brand. Instead of extracting more natural resources from Earth to make new products, what if you can creatively repurpose waste materials to generate new growth? That's what Hermes did. The workshops where they make the beautiful bags and scarves were generating a lot of waste materials that got discarded. So they set up a new brand called Petit H, which means small h, that creatively upcycles their production waste into beautiful new products that sell for hundreds and thousands of dollars. So like Hermes, I want to think about how you can creatively transform your own waste materials into desirable new products. Okay? This is called the circular economy. Yeah? This is a popular term these days, which is about upcycling waste materials to make new products. But I want to deliberately show this because you can make something desirable as well. Okay? Now, moving on, you can also think about how can we valorize, that means extract more value from existing data rather than keep on generating new data. AlgoSurge is an Indian startup that uses AI to automatically convert 2D X-ray images into 3D models. This enables Indian hospitals to not have to invest in expensive scanners and MRI devices. Banks today don't give loans to small, medium businesses unless they have a credit score. But what if banks can analyze social media data to assess the creditworthiness of SMEs? In South Africa, a fintech startup called Lulaland analyzes non-traditional data sets like social media activity, utility bills, and paper statements from banks, but also e-commerce transactions to assess the creditworthiness of SMEs who apply for loans. And if approved, the loans are disbursed within a matter of hours. So what does it all mean? All these examples point to a very important insight, is that when you lack resources, whether it is, sorry, I'm going to come to the conclusion later. I forgot this important example, which is actually my favorite example of the whole presentation. Now, that's because AI is nice, right? But you are scrambling now as marketers to find AI talent. And typically what you do is you go scouring for AI talent in big tech hubs like Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, or Pune. But do you know that you can find top-notch AI talent at low cost in rural India? Of course, when I say rural India, you think cows and peaceful farmers. But I told myself, holy cow, when I visited Desi Crew's rural AI development in a small village in Tamil Nadu. The quality of talent I met there was just amazing. Desi Crew is an IT services company. They train and recruit and employ hundreds of young, talented people in rural areas of India. And today, these rural AI workers in rural Tamil Nadu, but also in rural Karnataka, are developing cutting-edge AI-powered marketing execution solutions at much lower cost than what you can find in Bangalore or in Chennai or in Hyderabad. And today, leading brands like Walmart, Hungama, and Gum Gum are using Desi Crew's rural AI services. Now, these examples point to a very important insight, is that I don't want to, this is my only, I'm born optimist, but I have to say this. We all know that India is beginning to face some, important headwinds. Let's be realistic. So in this context, you are bound to face, a lack of resources. There could be capital, talent, or new technologies. And this is where it's important that you become resourceful and creatively mobilize, leverage the physical and intellectual resources that might exist already around you. Therefore, this is the tagline I want to leave you with for this principle is waste nothing, valorize everything. I'm a French citizen, so valoriser, it's a well-known French verb. It exists also in Italian and Spanish, but it's underused, in English. But it's a very powerful word. It means essentially to redeem something that is underappreciated. So let's redeem what we underappreciate and extract more value from it. Now, final principle, the third principle, is about co-creating future value with atypical partners. You all do co-branding. Essentially, you team up with brands that you know well, and you co-develop a joint offering. But co-branding has three limitations. It only targets existing customers. It focuses on existing markets that are already mature. And it involves only partners you already know. As practiced today, co-branding is what in management we call a red ocean strategy. A blue ocean strategy would be to involve atypical partners that are totally outside your core markets to identify future customers you may share and co-shape big future markets with them. Let me give you an example of how it can be done. In-Home is an innovative project led by InProcess, which is a design and marketing firm in France. It brings together 7 leading brands from 7 different sectors. These brands jointly study and learn about the homes where we'll be living in the next 10 years. They try to essentially anticipate and understand the needs, but also the aspirations of the families that will be living in the homes of 2035. Then they brainstorm how they can combine their respective brands' capabilities, not the existing capabilities, but think about the future capabilities they have, not the existing core competences, right? Because, and this is something I have to say, is that when you do this ethnographic study, they all become humble. They realize that all their core competences, assets, and capabilities will be useless in the next 10 years. So it forces them humbly to think about their future capabilities and then recombine those capabilities like Lego bricks, as Monica said, to co-develop end-to-end solutions for the shared customers of tomorrow. Why this is not only strategic, but very lucrative? Well, that's because I found this amazing data point from McKinsey, which projects that cross-industry solutions that deliver fully integrated end-to-end customer experiences will represent a $60 trillion market in the next 10 years. I believe you can get a piece of this big pie by reasoning beyond second-party data that you're all familiar with, right? I think you need to start leveraging what I call shared-party data. You need to boldly and ambitiously reach out to atypical brands outside your core markets and engage them to first, as I said, identify the future needs of customers you may share in the future. And then secondly, think about how you can proactively build new capabilities and then co-develop new end-to-end offerings for the shared clients of tomorrow. So in summary, whether we like it or not, we are entering what is known today as a VUCA world, which is going to be totally unpredictable and volatile. However, I believe that in every crisis lies an opportunity, and as marketers, you can thrive within this complex environment by mastering the art of frugal growth. And I think you can do better with less by transforming constraints into opportunities, valorizing creatively all existing resources, and co-creating future value with atypical partners. I thank you for your attention, and I will be around the next 2 days, so feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you very much.